Okay, I'm here with my week two defense, streaming defense, and streaming kicker picks. Um, Last week we did a little bit above average on all of them, on both the two kickers, Ryland and Lutz. Uh, Chad Ryland had a little better game because his field goals, I think, were both over 50, or right around there. I'm not exactly sure. And then on the defenses, the same thing, just a little above average on those. Actually, nobody really had a big game either on either the defensive side or on the defense or the kickers. So under the circumstances, that's not bad that we did what we did, how we did. Um, I'm hoping, obviously we're looking for those big games. That's why we're picking these guys. You always it's the same way you draft. You draft on the high end potential. You're going for just somebody that's going to put up big games. That's what you're looking for. That's why a lot of people like the rookies because you never know with some of these guys, and we've already seen some rookies shine early here. Um, but let's get to the this week's picks. I think for me, an obvious choice, first choice is Carolina at Arizona. I've said this before. Arizona is loaded on both sides of the ball. I expect a big season out of Arizona. I wouldn't be surprised to see like a 13 win season from them. They're loaded. Uh, so I like their defense in that, and I also actually Chad Ryland's probably my number one kicker pick too. Um, so I'd probably go with them. Uh, you see, I don't know if you can see my cheat sheet here. You can see some of the games I like. The Giants against Dallas. That should be a good game for Dallas. Chicago at Detroit. Uh, Caleb Williams was so disappointing to watch because he immediately did the stuff he's been doing, he did last year, where he doesn't stay in the structure of the play. And he's literally coming out of the pocket and starting the plays broken down in his mind even before he's set up and back. He's often running from the start, and these plays are going longer. That's why you get these weird sacks. That's why he had so many sacks last year. The funny thing is that a lot of these sacks aren't like he's not even getting hit. So um, yeah, it's just you could see the way Ben Johnson was looking from the sidelines. He was not happy because Caleb Williams resorted to his old self and it looked bad. So you got to kind of like Detroit in that one, and not too sure about Detroit either. Uh, I think Dan Campbell's kind of having second thoughts about his coaches, but his coach's choice to replace the guys he lost, but there's time, and we'll see. I also like the Rams at Tennessee. Um, uh, I it, the Rams defense actually played pretty good well last week. I think they were one of the higher scoring defenses, and then um, I know some people thought Cam Ward looked good. I'm still concerned about that low release, so I'm not too high on it. And then you got New England at Miami, and I mean, this may be a get well game for Miami. It wouldn't surprise me. So I'm kind of shying away from that one, picking the New England defense. San Francisco, New Orleans is a good pick too. You gotta like them um, because of New Orleans' quarterback issues. But you see here, there's so many more options this week as opposed to last week because we didn't know the situation with teams. Now we kind of got a better idea. It's just one game because a lot can change from one game. Cleveland at Baltimore. And Baltimore, I cannot figure this team out. They spend probably more resources on defense, I think, than anybody. They've put so many picks into defense. Uh, And one of the things they've done, and it's pretty obvious, is they've gone to a rotation with their defensive line. So they're not picking from the line and working back. They're picking first round cornerbacks, they're picking first round safeties, and they're working towards the front. Now, this probably saves them a little money doing this strategy because obviously those big guys up front are for the most part, are the most expensive guys. You know, you got some cornerbacks that are getting that kind of money, but the big guys up front is where the money's at. And it just looks like when they need one of those elite guys to make a play at the end, they don't have them. And they may have to rethink that strategy of working from the back and loading up on the back end and then working towards the front, because the rotation, you still need to have a guy that's going to make a play no matter what. And a lot of times, you know, these elite players, they might not be having a good game, but when it gets on the line, the adrenaline gets going a little bit, and then you see them make a play, and that's when you need them too. So I'm not sure about Baltimore. I mean, they may have to rethink that strategy. I would not be surprised if they make a first round pick on a defensive end in this next draft. They draft a defensive end or an outside linebacker, because they clearly need to have an elite player to make a play when it's needed the most. And in those crunch times, everybody's adrenaline's going. So if you don't have elite players on that line, the offensive line is just going to win in that situation, and that's exactly what happened. So yeah, they may have to rethink that strategy. But as far as defense goes, I like Arizona's, and then I like the Rams at Tennessee. Those are my two picks for this week. And the kicker, I'm going with Ryland, and I think it's Loop at Baltimore. I got Aubrey checked up here, but excuse me, he's not going to be available in most leagues, if any. So, because there's some people that will sit on a kicker, and as a matter of fact, most people do. But yeah, so Loop, and he may not be available in some leagues. So Ryland should be available, and he's my top pick. You can look at any of these other games. San Francisco, even with the new kickers, is an interesting choice. They might not have as much trust in him. But Detroit, I really, that's probably, but he's another one that you're probably not going to find on the waiver wire. So I don't even know who the kicker is for the Rams, but that might be your pick right there if you can't find Loop. But definitely go with Ryland on that one. So thank you.